actually became an entrepreneur by accident. I literally had nothing left. No matter how you find entrepreneurship, don't let anybody tell you that you're not an entrepreneur. Don't let anybody basically push you to the side because you're not doing entrepreneurship the way the gurus tell you to do entrepreneurship. God has been telling me to use my voice for years. And forever, I've just been like, maybe next year. Oh, it's so expensive. All these things. And I feel like this is my time to finally speak my mind and use my voice.
Episode 1, Entrepreneurship Unfiltered podcast. In 3, 2, 1.
Welcome. Sorry, I just got so nervous. Oh my goodness me. Okay, can we do it again? Is it just gonna, okay, cool. Welcome to the Entrepreneurship Unfiltered podcast. I'm your host, Ibiyemi, an entrepreneur who has made a lot of mistakes, guys. And I'm putting this podcast together to help you avoid some of those mistakes. I'm a huge believer in the idea that experience is the best teacher, but I also always say it doesn't have to be your experience. So if you can learn from my mistakes, that would be great. But also, some of you have coconut head, so you're not going to learn from my mistakes. So even if you make mistakes, this podcast is supposed to be your home, a place for you to recognize that you can still be successful, even if you owe $20,000 in your taxes.
Wait a minute.
We'll get to that.
Who are you?
At the end of the day, being an entrepreneur is such a calling, and this podcast is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. So I am glad that I'm finally doing it. So a bit of backstory on me and my entrepreneurship journey, just so that you have a good sense of what this is going to be about. I was born in the UK. I grew up in Nigeria, and I moved to Canada when I was about 16. And I spent almost 20 years in Canada. And I just moved back to Nigeria like 2 months ago. Why am I giving you all these details? My accent is gonna change. It's gonna go in and out. And it's okay. You're gonna be with me. We're gonna figure it out. Sometimes you may understand what I'm saying, sometimes you may not. Usually when I'm deep in like work mode, this is the accent that comes out. But if I'm trying to get you to understand what I'm trying to say, then you may need to go back to the Nigerian accent. Bear with me. Bear with me. But this is not really a podcast about me. This podcast is really about you, entrepreneurs, builders, people that are in the trenches of actually building a business. Backstory on my entrepreneurial journey. I actually became an entrepreneur by accident. All my family members, my dad, my mom, between me and my family members, there are about 30 businesses. So it wasn't something that I was super scared of, but it was not necessarily something that I had actively planned. So let me take you back to 2014. I was working in recruitment in HR, and I was killing it, you guys. I came in as an intern. I was there for 4 months, and within that 4 months, they promoted me, and then they promoted me again. So I was feeling myself. And as a recruiter, my job was to really help people get jobs, right? But I was working for the companies and, really helping them figure out who exactly they wanted to hire. And then people started getting jobs. Like people literally started getting jobs. So one of my friends was like, talk to people outside work, see how they feel. So I started calling people up outside my 9 to 5 to just say, okay, you interviewed with us today. You're not really gonna get that job. Here are all the mistakes that you made, right? And I would walk with them and I would talk with them and basically guide them through applying again. After like 2 weeks of that, people would then apply again and get the job. People started calling their friends, calling their brothers, calling their sister-in-laws to say, this person can get you a job. And I did that completely free for about 2 years. And then a really good friend of mine was like, listen, you're good at this. You're good at coaching. Why don't you actually charge people? And that was the first time that I was like, the imposter syndrome kind of hooked me, and I just really did not want to be in that space where I was charging people to just hear me talk. I just didn't think that like anything I had to say was going to be of value. But she was like, listen, you need to do this. You need to do this. So I did. I think I charged $20 that first call. And I sat on the phone with that person for about 2 hours. They ended up getting a job that was like 100K. So obviously my $20 was not the right price at that point. So mistake number one. But I continued to do that for another like 2 years. And that's how I became an entrepreneur. I literally was just calling people on the side, helping them get jobs, helping them build businesses, all of that kind of stuff on the side. And I didn't really tell anybody. And then I, carried on with my career, built up my business, all of that kind of stuff. And 2023 happened. That's 2023. You know when you're burnt out to like the end? Like you were like, the way I like to think about it is like a car, right? You're driving, you have gas in your tank, you're driving. The gas starts to go down, meaning you're getting tired. So pull over or get more gas. Ibiyemi said, no, I can't do this. I can't figure it out. So I kept going. My gas was going down. Quarter tank, still did not realize that I needed more gas. On E, I'm still driving until literally the car is like in the middle of the highway on fire was when I was like, I think I'm tired. And it was really, really bad. So that was what 2023 was for me. I essentially burnt out. Like I had to take medical leave from work. I was physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually exhausted. And I basically had to quit my job. I tell that story in many different ways on LinkedIn. And on LinkedIn, it doesn't sound as, as real as how I've just told it, because I know that there's a perception of the type of entrepreneur that quits their job, right? I quit my job to step into my business and da-da-da-da. I quit my job because I had nothing left. I literally had nothing left. And because I had been building the business on the side, I just decided to do that full time. And that's how I became a full-time entrepreneur. There was no actual plan. And, I thank God that it has come together and I'm, now a full-time entrepreneur. It's 2026. I've been able to pay for things and build my business and hire staff. Like even myself, I'm an employer. It's been a journey, but that's how I became a full-time entrepreneur. So I say that to say, no matter how you find entrepreneurship, don't let anybody tell you that you're not an entrepreneur. Don't let anybody basically push you to the side because you're not doing entrepreneurship the way the gurus tell you to do entrepreneurship. And that's really what this podcast is about, right? Before this call, I was sitting down with my coach last night actually. And I was asking her, I was like, listen, I'm doing this podcast. I know that I've been wanting to do it for many years, but what do I even say to these people? I want to show up perfect. And she's like, that's your problem. You're trying to show up perfectly. Just show up authentically. Tell them the thing that you want to tell them. And then make sure to remember your why, right? And she was asking me, what is your why? And the truth of the matter is there are many different whys. The first why is, truthfully, I made mistakes, costly mistakes. And I want to help other people avoid, lessen those mistakes and really find their footing, right? Secondly, I can talk for Africa. And I want to just talk. I feel like God has been telling me to use my voice for years. And forever, I've just been like, maybe next year. Oh, it's so expensive. All these things. And I feel like this is my time to finally speak my mind and use my voice. And then the last why is, my family members are always asking me, how is business going? This is the podcast. I'll talk about how business is going on here. So you can just refer to different episodes if you're really trying to know what's going on in the business. But that's my why. So how is this gonna work? How is it gonna work? The first couple of episodes is just gonna be me talking to the mic, right? Solo. The next couple of episodes, I'm going to invite different entrepreneurs to come down and tell us about their own specific failures, right? Every single episode, we're going to take dilemmas. So I have a bunch of my entrepreneurship friends send me, all of the things that they're navigating right now. So I have a bunch of dilemmas that we're going to answer on the mic. And then there's going to be like reflection / homework energy. All my friends know that this is like, I do this for free. Sorry. One of my friends is actually behind the camera and she's nodding because she's just right. I do this for free. I give people homework that I don't do. Literally. So there's going to be like a reflection and homeworky kind of, portion to the podcast. And then lastly, we are going to be talking about faith. So God is good, guys. And I know this is not like a faith-based podcast, but I'm a Christian. So there's no way I will have a business and I'll be running it without God. So anytime I come on the mic and I talk about entrepreneurship, I talk about the things that I'm learning, that I'm going through, there's always going to be an element of faith because that's just who I am. So that's the sort of rundown of how the podcast is going to go. I want to do a live dilemma, but before we do that, I actually want to tell you a really quick story about this mug. Hope you can see the mug. Can you see it? Yes? No? Maybe? Amazing. So this mug says the best is yet to come. So we're here setting up for the podcast and my man Eric in the background, he was like, you need a mug, right? You need some kind of, drink to just signify, CEO. So my assistant ran down and got a mug, and the mug says the best yet to come. What she didn't know is that this phrase has actually been in my life for the last 3 years. When I quit my job, I remember that day like it was yesterday. I walked into, am I gonna cry? Episode 1? This is wild. I walked into my boss's office and, I was terrified because I was like, what? I'm quitting my job. And I basically told him like, it's been a great time. I've learned a lot. It's been a couple of years, but I need to take a step back from my health. And he was very happy for me, which was kind of somehow because why are you happy from your top performance? Anyways. It's okay, it's been years. But he was happy for me. Same with my team and everybody was happy for me. And I remember walking out, one of the mottos of where I used to work, they had a massive sign that said the best is yet to come. So I took a picture right in front of that mural. So it's kind of like full circle to see this mug with the, same phrase as the best is yet to come. So check out for me. The best is yet to come, okay? Okay, so let us do one dilemma and then we'll close out. So I sent out a form to a few of my entrepreneurship friends, all of us in the trenches of this business. And I just said, hey, I'm filming this podcast. I would love to hear your actual dilemmas, things that you're navigating right now. And I'll feature it in the podcast. So if you want me to answer your dilemmas, well, actually, you can still send something now. But in season 2, watch out for me. So we are going to be reading this dilemma. We're doing this anonymously. Oh my goodness. Please, can you cut that out? No. Okay, no problem. So she is a business coach. She does her entrepreneurship as a side hustle. And she's based in Canada. So she was asking me, how do you do your best to protect your results while also understanding that the client has a responsibility to also do the work? Yeah, that's a big one because depending on what you're doing, right? If you're in the service-based sort of industry, it's not just you, right? There's you and there's a client. And usually you are co-creating a result. So if your clients, first of all, are you taking the right clients? I know money is money, but money is not money. Money is not money. If you take a client that cannot be helped and you're trying to help them, they will self-sabotage the entire process, right? I know I'm speaking from experience. I've had a few. So my first thing I would ask you to think about is whether or not you are taking the right clients. If you take a client that's actually not ready to make changes, they're not ready to grow, they think that signing up for coaching is magic, meaning once they've signed up, everything is going to work out perfectly, then you're going to struggle with getting results out of that client, right? Even if they were able to go through the entire process, they will self-sabotage. And that is also your results. So low key is on you. You should be able to walk away from money if you realize that it's not it. I have some clients, right? So I'm a full-time coach, like I mentioned before. And in the discovery call, in the sales call, I know immediately like, it's not gonna work. And at that point, and I'm like, you need therapy. It's not coaching, right? Like, let's know the difference. As a coach, yeah, I'm here to, help you work through really difficult things. But your therapist can sit there and listen to you say the same story over and over and over. Your coach can't do that. So as an entrepreneur, coaching others, I would say make sure to really dial in on who it is that you're taking on as a client. And then also create a program that is like movable. Because some clients, it's not their fault, right? One of my clients, she had 2 kids under 2. And she was like 3 or 4 months postpartum. She had a lot going on. She had just moved to Canada. Her husband was going back and forth. She had her mom as well. So it was difficult. So we were able to still walk around her schedule. So one, make sure that your client is the right type of client, but also make sure that your program allows for busy people, allows for things not to go perfectly, because it's not everybody that wants to take on something that has the full capacity to do it. And as a coach, it's your job to make sure that you're able to create that capacity. So I hope that helps. I hope that answers your question. I basically said it's all your fault and you need to figure it out and get it together. But it's all your fault, you need to figure it out and get it together. Okay. How would I like to close out? Yes, I did say that we were doing that before.
Music is gonna change here now.
Oh, jeez. Reflective. Okay. So as we close out episode 1, I can't believe I'm saying that. This is crazy. I have been wanting to do this for so many years. But as we close out episode 1, I want you to reflect on this idea that just because you have made mistakes building your business does not mean that you're not successful. LinkedIn is full of 7-figure grind till you drop, I've turned this over, that kind of energy. This is a space where you're allowed to be yourself. You're allowed to fall apart. And you have a community that's going to pick you up. So don't forget to map out your wins. Your wins are really, really important for you. Don't discount yourself. Everybody else is already doing it. It's a wrap.
You need to
Intro the next.
subscribe.
Yay!
Wind that ball back, man. Yeah,
Jesus.
CTH.
Who? Like, share, subscribe. I have to say it.
Yeah.
Or how do I say it?
If you've enjoyed this episode. Honestly, we know we enjoyed it.
Okay. So, if you have enjoyed today's podcast, you will enjoy the remaining ones coming. Please make sure to like, comment. If you are commenting rubbish, please don't comment. I actually can't handle it. I actually cannot handle it. But if you want to comment something inspiring, empowering, if you want to ask questions, feel free. If you have bad belly, keep it to yourself. And subscribe to the channel so that you are able to get notifications around the next couple episodes. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you. And remember, the best is yet to come. Where's my camera? The best is yet to come. See ya.
Awesome. Good.